Hello, I'm Tomas Guevara, and this is the channel Rewriting the Reality. Do you know what causes epilepsy or asthma? Don't worry, I'm going to clarify this dilemma for you in the next 10 minutes. Subscribe to this channel to be aware of your reality. Science tells us epilepsy is a neurological disorder characterized by the recurrent onset of seizures, which are episodes of abnormal electrical activity in the brain that can cause changes in consciousness, behavior, and sensations. Seizures are the result of excessive or unbalanced electrical discharge in brain cells, which causes interference in normal communication between neurons. They then conclude, the exact causes of epilepsy can vary and are sometimes not known with certainty. To begin with, I must inform you that this is completely incorrect. In the second part of episode 26, I mentioned the case of a girl who underwent a hemispherectomy, that is, a hemisphere of her brain was removed. This is definitely a crime. However, I have already explained that you can function well with half a brain. Your mind, which is you, is always sending signals to the brain. You can do it objectively, but you usually do it subjectively. In episodes 3, 4, 5, 6, 18, 19, 20, 22, and 26, I have explained that the mind is not the brain, nor does it reside in the brain. The mind is you, and you are the one who directs your body. I have explained that the brain is only an organ, and that, like the body, it does not have a mind of its own. Therefore, how could it think? Now, analyzing is certainly not thinking, but we usually compare it to thinking. I hope that in a few years we will clarify this difference. The signals we send to the brain, whether objective or subjective, are certainly electrical signals that the brain must process and analyze. Most of these signals are sent through our senses, the 5 external senses, and others signals through our internal senses that I will explain in another episode. I have also explained many times that our brain uses our beliefs to analyze the signals it receives. All of us have experienced situations that, sometimes we say, leave us with our mouths open or paralyze us. This is because the signals that the brain receives contradict our beliefs. If you run into a lion in the city, what will you do? Some will run away in terror, others will stay very still, playing dead, and others will simply freeze, or others will faint. The same happens with episodes of epilepsy. The brain enters a huge contradiction with our beliefs, and the result is a short circuit. That is what causes epilepsy. To investigate the cause of the contradiction that the brain encounters with our beliefs, the best solution is hypnosis. Under a deep trance, it is easier for a professional to access the subjective self, or inner self. In this way, by asking the right questions, you can get to the cause of epilepsy and thus accept the contradiction or contradictions in beliefs, and this will eliminate epilepsy. We will never eliminate beliefs, we must only accept them as such. Now let's see what causes asthma according to science. Asthma is a chronic disease of the airways that can be triggered by a variety of factors. These factors can vary from person to person, and it is important to note that the exact cause of asthma is not fully understood, although it is thought to be the result of a combination of genetic and environmental factors. Here we have another situation that science does not understand. Like epilepsy, asthma usually results from conflicts with beliefs. Here I am going to tell you a true case that I experienced in the early 1990s. A 25-year-old woman had her third daughter in 1988. Her 3 daughters were from different fathers because she was a very sexually active young woman. At age 5, the girl developed asthma, was taken to a clinic, and told she should use treatment for the rest of her life. 5 years later, in 1993, I learned that asthma could be a psychological problem the girl was facing. When she turned 10, I talked to her, and asked her what she didn't like about her mother. Her answer was that she didn't like so many men coming and sleeping with her mother. My suggestion was that she should talk to her mother first and tell her what she didn't like, and then that she should understand that her mother was an adult, young, attractive, single, and uncompromising, and that she had a great sexual appetite, and this was healthy. I also explained that there were still many prejudices against women and their sexual freedom. She finally managed to talk to her mother, and they resolved their differences. By the time the girl entered her teens, her asthma was gone. Normally, religious beliefs affect us, because we all have religious beliefs, and although we think we do not have them, our society has them, and this affects us. Also, because all our lives are happening at the same time, these other lives affect us as well, mainly our so-called past lives in which religious beliefs are stricter than they are now. Science mentioned other common triggers, according to them, including 1. Substances such as pollen, dust mites, animal hair, and fungi can trigger asthma symptoms in sensitive individuals. 2. Colds, flu, and other respiratory infections can trigger asthma episodes in some people. 3. Air pollution, tobacco smoke, chemicals in the environment, and strong odors can trigger asthmatic symptoms. 4. Changes in weather, especially cold and dry air, can trigger asthma in some people. 5. Intense exercise or physical exertion can lead to narrowing of the airways and trigger asthma symptoms in some people. 6. Emotional stress and strong emotions can trigger asthmatic symptoms in some people. 7. Exposure to certain chemicals in the workplace or environment can cause asthma symptoms in susceptible individuals. 8. Acid reflux from the stomach into the esophagus can trigger or worsen asthma symptoms in some people. 9. Some medicines, such as beta blockers, can make asthma symptoms worse in some people. 10. Genetic predisposition can increase the risk of developing asthma. It's important to note that each person with asthma may have different triggers and sensitivities. Keeping track of the factors that trigger asthma symptoms can be helpful in avoiding them as much as possible and managing the disease effectively. If you have asthma, it's critical to work with a healthcare professional to develop a personalized treatment and management plan. Of the triggers mentioned, only number 6 makes sense. The rest are just factors that can make asthma worse. Usually, when we have ambivalent beliefs, or contradictory beliefs, and we don't talk about them, this results in a retention of energy that will affect and constrict our airways. The solution is to express what we feel. The same is true for epilepsy, as emotional stress is usually due to ambivalent or unaccepted beliefs, because we don't know we have them. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel.